Welcome to The Explainer. I am absolutely thrilled you're joining us today. Picture this. You're walking down the toy aisle and you're just totally surrounded by these brightly colored boxes. They've got flashing lights, catchy little songs, buttons everywhere, and they all promise to turn your toddler into an absolute certified genius, right? It is so tempting to just load up the cart thinking, hey, I'm giving my kid a massive head start. But what if we've been decoding that toy aisle entirely wrong? Today, we're going to completely rethink our approach to play by taking a fascinating look at the actual architecture of your child's brain.
Okay, let's dive into this, because this is the big, counterintuitive question we really need to answer today. Are these expensive, highly marketed smart toys actually harming your child's brain development? I know, it sounds a little shocking, maybe even backwards. But as we look closely at the neurological reality of early childhood, you'll see that those singing, flashing electronic gadgets might literally be working against your child's natural cognitive growth.
Because here is the hidden danger. The reality is that these very toys, the ones that cost the absolute most and make the boldest promises, are actually training your child's brain to be passive, uncurious, and totally dependent on external stimulation. Why does that happen? Well, your child's brain is fundamentally wired to learn through active effort. When a toy is designed to just do all the work for them, it completely strips the child of their role as an active agent in their own learning.
Section 1. Architecture of the brain. You see, in early childhood, babies aren't just empty vessels waiting around to receive information. Far from it. They're actually the master architects, actively building their own minds from the ground up.
And this brilliantly illustrates the sheer scale of what we're talking about. 1 million neural connections per second. Just think about that for a second. Your baby's brain is growing faster in the first 3 years of life than it ever will again. Every sound, every texture, every game you play is literally shaping the physical structure of their developing brain. The stakes of this brain plasticity are absolutely immense. Now, modern culture pushes this idea that we need special, hyper-stimulating products to make this happen. But the truth, the toys that build the most capable brains are the ones that require the most from the child, not the most from the batteries. Let's walk through this critical window. Notice the period right between roughly 2 and 6 months. We call this the cause and effect window. This is just a monumental phase where your baby's brain is trying to figure out one fundamental concept. Do my actions actually have power in the real world? When they kick a simple, low-tech mobile and it moves, they learn agency, they learn problem solving. But smart toys, they totally disrupt this natural timeline by giving automatic or just completely random responses. Section 2, the cognitive cost. So how exactly do these smart toys interfere with these beautiful, natural developmental milestones? Well, let's break down the hidden price tag. The first major cost is a phenomenon called learned helplessness. Say a toy lights up and plays a full symphony just because your baby accidentally brushed their hand against it. There's zero clear connection between their effort and the result. To put that into perspective, imagine you're trying to learn how to drive a car, but the car turns left or right completely randomly, regardless of what you do with the steering wheel. You'd be so frustrated, you would never develop confidence or understand the system. And that is exactly what happens to a baby's brain when a toy reacts randomly to their touch. The second cost is passive stimulation. These flashy toys create just intense audio and visual clutter. The baby's brain isn't actually doing any work, it's just sitting back and watching things happen to it. It acts a lot like putting them in front of a screen, actually. And the danger here is that the nervous system gets so used to high levels of input that requires zero effort. Over time, normal, natural, quiet exploration starts to feel, well, boring to them, simply because their brain hasn't had the chance to build those self-directed, curious neural pathways. So what's the alternative? We need tools that encourage active brain development. And speaking of giving your child a true intellectual edge, let's look at this comparison featuring today's sponsor, Phonics Foundations. Unlike smart toys that just rely on passive memorization and sedentary watching, Phonics Foundations utilizes a totally active neurodevelopmental approach. It doesn't lean on flashy symbols doing the work. Instead, it works with your child's natural brain architecture to stimulate the exact pattern recognition that creates superior intelligence. It's a real game changer that gives them cognitive tools for life. You can check the link in the description to see how it can help unlock your child's full potential.
Section 3. The Treasure Basket Solution. It is officially time to ditch those giant plastic bins full of battery-operated noisemakers for something radically simple.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark contrast in cognitive effort. On one side, we have the smart toy, It's automatic, it's passive, and it's all about instant gratification. But over on the other side, we have the treasure basket object. This requires the child to actually step up as an active agent, teaching them real-world physics and texture. That cognitive effort is the exact thing that builds the muscle for future mathematics and logic.
So what's actually in this basket? It's just safe, natural household objects that offer incredibly varied sensory experiences. We're talking a wooden spoon, a metal measuring cup, a soft cloth, a smooth stone. Why are these so much better than a flashing plastic tablet? Well, when your baby picks up that metal cup, they discover all on their own that it's cold and heavy. Then they drop it, pick up the cloth, and realize, oh, wow, this is soft and light. Their brain is actively working, categorizing information, building memory, and learning physics in a way that a plastic toy just shouting, square, never ever could.
Section 4, the 10-second struggle. This kind of active exploration leads us perfectly into one of the most absolutely crucial concepts in early childhood development.
Look, electronic toys are explicitly designed for instant gratification. Press a button, get a song, boom. But true, lasting brain growth, that requires manageable struggle. Handing a child a toy that does literally all the work eliminates a vital brain-building opportunity. It's like being at the gym and having someone else lift the weights for you. You'd never get stronger. If your baby is reaching for a simple block that's just slightly out of their reach, their brain is doing massive computational work, figuring out how to coordinate limbs and plan movement. We absolutely cannot steal that repetition from them. So here is a highly practical framework you can start using right now. Step 1, observe your child struggling to manipulate an object. Step 2, stop and count to 10 in your head. Step 3, intervene only if it's absolutely necessary. This simple 10-second pause is literally magic. It gives your child's brain the necessary space to build the pathways for persistence, resilience, and true confidence. Section 5, the ultimate brain builder. You know, a lot of these smart toys come attached to sedentary containers, like bouncers or jumpers, and these can actually cause a serious issue known as the milestone skip. Instead of trapping your child in a stationary activity center, look at what happens when you build a simple crawl obstacle course using just pillows and cardboard boxes on the floor. Your child's brain desperately needs cross-lateral movement, like crawling. Why? Because as they move opposite arms and legs, it literally strengthens the physical connection between the two hemispheres of their brain. This bilateral coordination forms the direct neurological foundation for future reading and deep focus. Problem solving while physically moving around obstacles supercharges their spatial reasoning and IQ way better than any sitting toy ever could. And that brings us to the final and absolute most important piece of the whole shebang: serve and return. The most powerful brain-boosting tool in your entire home is not a product at all. It's you. Your child's brain is literally wired to learn through dynamic, interactive exchanges. So when your baby makes a sound and you copy it back to them, or when you narrate what you're doing during a diaper change, you are actively firing up their mirror neurons. You are single-handedly building the grand architecture for language and empathy. It's not a one-sided monologue from a plastic machine. It is a warm human dialogue. I really want to leave you with this powerful thought. A toy can give them content, but only you can give them the connection that wires their brain for success. We've got to stop falling for the aggressive marketing that tells us our kids need to be constantly entertained by electronics to be smart. Real, lasting intelligence is built through connection, curiosity, effort, and just messy exploration of the real world. So, here is my final, provocative question for you to ponder today. Which of your child's favorite smart toys are you going to replace with a simple kitchen spoon, a metal cup, or a homemade crawl obstacle course today? Really think about it and take action. If you found this explainer helpful and you want to keep learning how to optimize your child's development, please hit subscribe and join our Brain Bonds community. Let's stop talking at our children with flashing lights and start building those deep, neurological connections together.